Mick Schumacher has experienced a turbulent year in the Haas hot seat, having to deal with continued pressure from team principal Günther Steiner, which in parts has seemed more like bullying. Schumacher was recently told that he would be subject to requirements going forward. Today we are discussing Mick's recent departure from F1 and how his name could save him, plus a possible lifeline from Toto Wolff. Stay with us. Let's jump straight in then. What's the situation on the ground right now? Earlier this month, it was confirmed what we had mostly all assumed for the past few months, that Mick Schumacher would be leaving Haas at the end of the season. It has since been revealed that he will be replaced by Nico Hülkenberg. Schumacher had faced criticism from his own team this season for what team principal Steiner had suggested was the German underperforming, which meant he was up against it for the majority of the season. Haas decided to finally act, and a couple of weeks back, ahead of the Abu Dhabi GP, Steiner himself commented saying, "I would like to thank Mick Schumacher for his contribution to the team over the past couple of years. Mick's pedigree in the junior categories was well known, and he has continued to grow and develop as a driver in his time with Haas F1 team, culminating in his first Formula One point-scoring successes earlier this season." Of course, he claimed that Schumacher would leave with his blessing, but Steiner was undoubtedly a problem for young Mick and didn't appear to give him much of a chance from the outset. His fate was pretty much sealed when Kevin Magnussen came in earlier in the season to replace Nikita Mazepin. The Dane outperformed Schumacher for most of the season, but he also has more experience than Mick, who performed admirably mid-season with back-to-back points finishes in England and Austria. What did you make of Haas's decision to get rid of Schumacher? Could Schumacher have been given more time then? Stay with us to find out. Schumacher probably would have expected to have been cut a bit more slack, considering his surname, but nepotism gets you nowhere in F1 these days. Having recently been cut from Haas, he now faces somewhat of an uncertain future, and it seems unlikely he will have an F1 drive next season. What had looked like a promising career just a couple of years back now looks to be up in the air. So what went wrong? Well, first of all, Haas themselves are pretty much the worst team on the grid, so debuting with a team like that was always going to be difficult. They have looked close to going under at various points in the past couple of years, and Gene Haas himself has lamented the opportunities his team have compared to the rest of the field. Of course, the Russian invasion of Ukraine didn't help, as they were forced to cut ties with the Mazepin family. The car also hadn't been upgraded for the season, so Schumacher didn't have much to do in the way of car development or even racing, which led to claims that Haas isn't the best place for a young driver, which seems pretty obvious now. Günther Steiner's attitude around the paddock won't have helped him either, who seemed perennially dissatisfied with whatever Mick did. Schumacher's uncle Ralph, who also raced in F1, suggested that he was under so much pressure that he couldn't drive freely. But he is hardly an unbiased source, right? Let's discuss young Schumacher's mistakes now. As we know, young drivers are going to make mistakes. It's all part of the learning curve, but Ralf Schumacher has claimed that Haas's behavior towards Mick was personal, and Steiner couldn't deal with not being the center of attention at Haas. That doesn't hide the fact that Schumacher did make mistakes, such as the damage he caused to his car in Saudi Arabia, and another big impact crash in Monaco, which basically cut the car into two pieces. He then crashed again in Japan, which almost ruined his chassis, and one German newspaper estimated that Mick's recklessness caused around €3 million worth of damage to the car. Of course, for the team with the least amount of money on the grid, this isn't to be sniffed at. After the crash in Monaco, Steiner revealed that Haas and Schumacher couldn't continue that way, saying, "We need to see how we go forward. There's a lot of things we have to sort out now." However, after a stern talking to, which saw Steiner lay his cards on the table, Schumacher improved and made great strides in Canada, England, and Austria, and even ended up outscoring his teammate Magnussen across the final 12 races of the season. But Steiner's mind appeared to be already made up after those costly crashes, saying in the end it was self-inflicted. What do you guys make of Schumacher's mistakes and Steiner's comments? So, what can Nico Hülkenberg bring to the table? Let's see. Well, along with a wealth of experience, Haas will also be hoping that Schumacher's countrymen bring steady consistency. Haas's relative youth in the sport means they couldn't wait for Schumacher to develop, but they knew this from the start. Hülkenberg offers a sturdy option and should hopefully stabilize the team in midfield. Although he isn't exciting and doesn't have the potential of Schumacher, some have suggested he is exactly what Gene Haas and Günther Steiner need. It is also hoped that he will provide a good foil for Kevin Magnussen, which Schumacher couldn't provide as he was focusing on his own problems. Whilst admitting that Mick was hindered by a lack of experience, Steiner said of Hülkenberg what Nico brings in. He's been with 3 or 4 teams before, so he has the experience. Experience takes time to make, and at the moment we don't have time because we want to move forward. Whilst admitting that it wasn't Mick's fault, Steiner did reveal that one of the ways to ensure moving up the grid was to bring in someone with a lot of experience that has done this in multiple teams, which were in similar positions to where we are now.
I think we can move the team forward to be better in general because of his experience. We want to use his experience to bring the team up. I wouldn't blame Mick for not having made the points this year, but we need to make the next step. And what we need is bring the whole team up. And Nico did that with other teams in the midfield. That is why we decided we changed. There was not like that Mick didn't do this or Mick didn't do that.
What do you guys make of Hulkenberg signing on for Haas? Do you think this will be a good fit? Let us know below. Kevin Magnussen has been discussing how Hulkenberg can be a big asset for Haas next. With the news that Schumacher was being replaced with 181 race veteran Nico Hulkenberg, it's safe to say that Magnussen had mixed emotions. However, he did concede that he expects the German to be a big asset for the team. Of course, the pair were involved in a heated exchange at the 2017 Hungarian GP, where Nico criticized the Dane's defensive driving. Kevin responded with some pretty strong words in the TV pen shortly after, but he has since revealed the pair have laughed about the incident, saying, "I'm sure it's going to be fine. I think in the beginning of the year, it was the first time I really actually spoke to Nico. We met at the airport and had a short chat on the driver's parade in Bahrain." He then added that they have joked about what happened and that it's going to be fun. And speaking about what the experienced Hulkenberg can bring to the table, Kevin said, "It's exciting and also sad at the same time because I like Mick and had a good time with him this year, and I think he's done a good job at the end of the day." But then he went on to explain how Nico's experience can really benefit the team. And finally, what's next for Schumacher? At this point, an F1 drive next season seems like a pretty unrealistic scenario, and the focus will now be on improving for 2024. It is thought Ferrari could also cut ties with the son of their most famous ever driver too, but this might not be the worst thing for his career as it could open the door for a Mercedes alliance. Schumacher Sr. spent his final years in the sport with the German team, and Toto Wolff himself has recently been speaking about the possibility of Mercedes and Mick working together. He said, "Mick is someone that has always been close to our heart because of Michael, the whole Schumacher family. Ralph was in a DTM for a long time for us. His son races Mercedes in GTs, and he's an intelligent, well-mannered young man." Wolff also then discussed his success in the junior formats, before adding that if Schumacher ended up at Mercedes, they can look after him. Of course, this would have been music to Schumacher's ears, who spoke about how humbled he was when learning about what Wolff had said. He went on, "I'll consider all the options that I have to then hopefully make the right decision for me. The benefits of joining Mercedes are clear." And his uncle Ralph was also on board with the idea, claiming that Mick can benefit from the way Mercedes does things, which is completely different from the process at Haas. As usual, thanks for dropping in on us today. And remember to swing by again next time when we'll be discussing loads more interesting bits and pieces. And why not do us a solid by liking and sharing today's video with any F1 heads? Bye guys!